coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show, and I'm your host, Skip Coryell, author of 22 books, Marine Corps veteran, founder of the Second Amendment March, proud father of 7, grandfather to 19 and counting, and as a special bonus, I'm also madly in love with my own wife. My priorities in life are God, family, and country in that order, and I hereby promise to never compromise in my convictions. I may go broke, but I'll never go woke. And joining me today is my co-host and adoring wife, Sarah Coryell. Sarah, welcome back.
Thank you, Skip. It is great to be here again.
Well, we've been battling illnesses with our children lately. Give us an update on our 3 sick children.
Our eldest is doing okay. He's doing good. He's helping around the house again, and I'm very grateful for that. Our second son, Phoenix, he's having a really tough time. He's going on, day 9 of a fever he's been battling. His cough is wet and nasty, so send up a prayer for Phoenix if you can. Our little girl, Amethyst, she's doing okay. She's sick, but she's fighting it, so.
Yeah, it's really frustrating for me as well. I just worry about it. Back in the 18th, 19th century, before we had modern medicine, the mortality rate for children was like 50%. It was just incredible. I want to share a tip to the listeners here. Yesterday, I went on a website called allfamilypharma.com. And you can go on there and you can get a consultation online with a doctor and get antibiotics. You can get ivermectin. You can get hydroxychloroquine. You can get all kinds of medications for illnesses like the ones that families commonly have. And I really like that because typically the kids will get sick and then we'll take them into the doctor and they'll say, oh, that's a virus, nothing we can do about it. Take ibuprofen, let them get plenty of rest and drink plenty of fluids. Well, I could have figured that out on my own. I've been doing it for almost 40 years as a parent. And then they'll charge you a bunch of money and you're taking a kid out into the cold while he's already sick. So I like this way a lot better. So check out allfamilypharma.com and see how that works.
Folks, we have a great show planned for you today. First, we'll speak with Amanda Winters from Center Shot Indoor Gun Range about the Byrna Less Than Lethal Self-Defense System. Then we'll discuss a self-defense scenario in our shootingclasses.com self-defense report with firearms instructor Ron Tiller from the great state of Michigan.
But before we get too far into the show, let's thank our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, and Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. But now it's time for our home defense show quote of the week. What's the quote this week, Sarah?
Well, this week, the quote is from Sun Tzu, and it goes like this. One need not destroy one's enemy. One need only destroy his willingness to engage.
I like that, but I like all of Sun Tzu. If you're not familiar with Sun Tzu, he was a very famous Chinese general back in medieval times. He wrote the book called Sun Tzu's Art of War. And it's all about tactics, strategies, things like that. A lot about human nature. This particular quote is a really good one. If you haven't read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, you need to check that out. And that's just spelled Suntzu. One need not destroy one's enemy. One need only destroy his willingness to engage. We see that playing out right now all across the world. I mean, back in during the Vietnam War, right? We didn't lose a single battle in that entire war, and it went on for over a decade. But we lost the war because we lost the will to fight, and we just packed up our stuff and went home. I saw the same thing happen with Russia in Afghanistan. And now I think we're seeing it play out as Russia invades the Ukraine. I think Sun Tzu is right. One need not destroy one's enemy. One need only destroy his willingness to engage. And we see that in personal defense as well. When you're fighting someone, you don't necessarily have to kill them. You just have to destroy their resolve and their determination to hurt you. Good advice from the famous Chinese general Sun Tzu. And now it's time for our home defense show, Hero of the Week. Who's our hero this week, Sarah?
Well, Skip, this week's hero is from Missouri. In an unexpected twist of fate, an armed robbery attempt was thwarted by an Army veteran who turned the tables on his assailant. The incident unfolded at a gas station on Buford Drive in Gwinnett County, Georgia, where police responded to an early morning disturbance. Rusty Fields, the Army veteran involved, recounted the events to WSB-TV. It all began when he stopped at the gas station due to a flat tire. A man approached him claiming he needed help because he was stranded. Fields, preoccupied with his own issues, told the man, "Look, I got problems of my own." The situation escalated quickly when Fields felt a gun pressed against his back, and the man forced him to kneel. Fields described the tense moment, saying, "I could still feel that pushed into my back, so he took my keys out of my pocket." The assailant discovered a bank envelope containing $12,000 in Fields' pocket, which triggered a swift response from the veteran. Recalling his military training, Fields said, "The one I didn't want him to get to was that bank envelope in my other pocket. I leaned back and I grabbed him by his head and slammed him on the ground." With the tables turned, Fields demanded, "Now you empty your pockets." Despite Fields' efforts, the assailant managed to flee the scene, running onto Interstate 985. Fields promptly contacted the police, and Gwinnett County officers from the North Precinct arrived quickly. Their efficient response led to the arrest of 28-year-old Johnny Roque, who was allegedly found with Fields' money. Fields expressed his gratitude for the swift action of the officers, noting, "I couldn't believe how coordinated they were. They were there in a flash and had him within 30 minutes. He was so impressed that he made sure to remember the names of the 11 officers who assisted him. This incident serves as a testament to the unpredictability of life and the importance of being prepared to defend oneself. Fields' quick thinking and military training proved invaluable in a situation that could have ended very differently.
Yeah, this was quite a story. Imagine being at a gas station, having a man walk up behind you, and then you feel the gun in your back. You don't know for sure it's a gun until you look at it, but you can't turn around and look at it, so you have to assume that it's a gun in your back. Man, I would not like that. This guy, he had $12,000 cash in his pocket. Who does that? If I had $12,000 cash, I wouldn't be carrying around in my pocket. He probably had his reasons, but first off, folks, it's not a good idea to carry large amounts of cash on your person. Simply because if a man is taking my car keys, all he wants to do is steal my car. Unless my wife and kids are in the car, I'll just let him have it and let him go. And then I call the cops, give him the license number, and they run him down just like they did here. And they get the car back and, hey, everything's good and bad guy goes to jail. But in this particular case, he had $12,000 cash on him. And he was thinking, you know what? I'd let him have the car because I can get that back and that's insured. But this $12,000 cash, how do you insure that? If I had 12,000 cash, that's probably all I have, and I'm not going to let someone have that. So I have to put my own life in danger to try and save that money. In general, folks, don't carry large amounts of cash on you because you may have to risk your life to defend that. Figure out a different way. Lock it in the car, something, but don't walk around with it. Just not a good idea. But hey, Rusty from Missouri, all's well that ends well. He took a chance. The guy didn't press the trigger when he fought back, and so he got his money back and he didn't lose his life. So good deal. What about you, Sarah? Would you risk your life for $12,000?
I wouldn't be able to slam his head into the ground.
I guess my preference for you would be let him have the money. I'll go out and I'll earn some more. I mean, I can't replace you. I can replace the money.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Okay. Sarah, what do we have coming up?
This is Sarah Coriel on the Home Defense Show. Coming up next, we'll talk with Amanda Winters from Centershot Indoor Gun Range about the Byrna Less Than Lethal Self-Defense System. Then we'll discuss our self-defense scenario in our shootingclasses.com self-defense report with firearms instructor Ron Tiller from the great state of Michigan, where we will hear some of his expert advice on the details of home defense.
In the meantime, God bless and stay safe. We will be right back.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
At Center Shot Gun Range, we are passionate about training. Don't know where to start? We offer a 1-hour new shooter seminar to introduce you to the world of firearms and help you find training opportunities specific to you. Concealed carry, home defense, firearm safety, AR-15, private one-on-one training, custom training, or maybe you're on a security team looking to protect your church or business. We even offer weekday morning and evening classes. Center Shot Gun Range has you covered. Start your journey at centershotgunrange.com.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If this sounds good to you, you sound good to me, and I'd like to help you do those things. Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If you're looking for more excitement in your life, we have nothing to offer you. But if you are a thoughtful, responsible, nonviolent man or woman, we'd love to teach you what to do if something crazy happens. More importantly, we'd like to teach you what not to do. We currently have over 500,000 members. They are doctors and single moms and firemen and grandmothers and veterans and Democrats and Republicans and members of every faith. But the one thing they all have in common is that they know exactly what to do if something crazy happens. When you're with one of our members, you are safe. Our members know how to de-escalate situations. They know how to calm things down. We are the United States Concealed Carry Association. See what we're all about at usconcealedcarry.com.
Discover the little-known backstory of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association at usconcealedcarry.com.
He's no Einstein, but he can read and write and feed himself just like a big boy. Welcome back to the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was a beautiful and sultry voice of Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show. Folks, we live in a dangerous world, and I want you to be able to protect and defend the ones you love. And that's why I have this show. It's my way of empowering you to accomplish one of your primary jobs in life. You are a protector and a defender. All right, listeners, before we get too far into the show, don't forget to check out our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, and Center Shot Indoor Gun Range for all your training and equipment needs. Without our sponsors, this show wouldn't be on the air, so we thank you all. And now I'd like to welcome back Amanda Winters from Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Amanda, welcome back to the Home Defense Show.
Hi, Skip. Thank you so much. It is so much fun speaking with you. I enjoy our conversations.
That's because I'm an incredible human being, but, you know, I thank you for the praise. I really do.
You're very welcome.
I'm also incredibly humble, aren't I?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Amanda, I've been into the Center Shot there hundreds of times. One of the things that I'm seeing lately when I walk in the door is something called a Byrna self-defense pistol of some kind. And I actually got to shoot it with Ron, at the Customer Appreciation Day just a few weeks ago. And it was kind of fun to shoot and all, but I really don't know a lot about it. And I don't think our listeners do either. Talk to us about the Byrna self-defense pistol. What exactly is the Byrna system?
So it's actually a pepper launcher. It's not actually even considered a firearm at all. It acts more like an air gun because it's powered with a CO2 cartridge and not with gunpowder. It does look like a pistol, but the actual terminology is a launcher. So
I'm going to call it a gun because I like guns. So I'm going to call it a gun. We'll call it a pepper gun because guns are big and bad and cool and fun. So I'll call it a gun and you can call it a launcher, okay?
All right, we can do that. Yes, absolutely. So what this launcher does is it holds 5 to 7 .68 caliber balls that look like even just a paintball. And they're loaded in a magazine, just like in a pistol. And you press the trigger and sights and grip and all of that good jazz, just like a pistol. So the difference here is where it, with the CO2 cartridge, is what powers it to be able to shoot the ball out a good 100 feet, if not more, to be honest. And it packs quite a punch.
When I was there shooting that at the Customer Appreciation Day, there were it was a hard ball that Ron loaded up in the magazine, and we were shooting that, and it was close range, so maybe 10, 12 feet. It was actually starting to tear up the 2x4 that we were shooting into. Those hard balls, is that just like a practice thing, or is that something you can actually shoot at somebody?
So, I mean, in my mind, a little bit of both, but yes. So they have a kinetic, an eco-kinetic, and pepper, and then a higher strength pepper ball. I forget the name of that one off the top of my head. My apologies. But so yeah, so you can actually like practice with it. Each CO2 cartridge. So the Byrna itself has two different sizes. They have a standard and an LE version. So the standard holds 5 rounds with an 8-ounce cylinder, CO2 cylinder, and then the LE has 5 to 7 round magazine capacity and a 12-ounce CO2 cartridge. So, but they all can shoot. They both shoot all those 60.68 caliber balls for it. So practicing with it so you know what it does and how it works is extremely important. So those hard plastic balls, that's exactly what they are for. They're there for practice. You can reuse them. I would even be inclined to load them up in my magazine as a carry option, because with the pepper spray in itself, or the pepper powder, I should say, maybe not spray, you never really know where you're going to find yourself in a situation to where you may use that, because some people traveling with it, or maybe they're just not comfortable carrying a real firearm. With Byrna being a less than lethal option, it is something that you can travel with. It is legal in all 50 states. So I would definitely, me personally, I would be inclined to have the hard balls in there along with the pepper. One, to not over pepper the environment, and two, I really just want you to stop. I want you to leave me alone. I'm not looking to hurt anybody.
Yeah, this is Skip Coriel on Home Defense. We're speaking with Amanda Winters from Center Shot Indoor Gun Range about the Byrna system, what they really need. And, I don't know if Byrna is listening to this, but what we need a Byrna long gun, fully automatic, with a 50-round drum. And I think that would be especially effective, again, for home defense against muggers. You shoot out those really hard balls. Man, that would be fantastic. So, it's not really a gun, it's a launcher. It's fully automatic, but since it's not a gun, who cares? We don't care about the ATF. So that would be fantastic. Fully automatic with those hard balls. Man, that would do a number on a criminal. What do you think?
I would agree it would do a number, absolutely. Byrna does make, they do make like an AR type style, and that's called a Mission 4. And then they also have, and that one actually holds 15 rounds. So the magazine, everything about it looks like an AR.
Well, every
And
man
the,
knows that bigger is better. I mean, we all know that, right?
yeah. And they even make a round for a shotgun that you shoot through a regular 12 gauge shotgun. And
Wow.
the propellant in it is different. I haven't quite understood the mechanics on that one, but that is definitely an option if especially for your home's defense, if a 12 gauge is your option. They have rounds for that. And personally, I feel like, especially for like the campers, camping is huge now. It's growing a lot. And so you're in a really tight confined space, and that's something you don't necessarily have to worry about it Well,
So
it could
this
actually.
shotgun round, it's a shotgun round. It's a pepper round. Like,
Yes.
oh, wow. That sounds cool. I think I will definitely have to get me one of those. All right. Well, hey, I want to talk about this some more, but we're just about out of time here, Amanda. When we come back, let's dig into this a little bit deeper, because I want to talk about launchers and guns and shotguns and for balls and hard balls and all kinds of stuff like that. So stick with us, folks. This is Skip Coriel on the Home Defense Show. We are out of time for this segment, but stay tuned because we got more great stuff. We'll talk about these Byrna launchers again, slash guns, when we get right back. During the break, I want you to work on getting back in fighting shape. Today, let's do some one-handed push-ups. Not a lot, just 20 with each hand. Start with your right hand, and then what's left of you can transition to the left. Stay tuned, because we will be right back.
Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If this sounds good to you, you sound good to me. And I'd like to help you do those things. Avoid danger, save lives, and keep your loved ones safe. If you're looking for more excitement in your life, we have nothing to offer you. But if you are a thoughtful, responsible, nonviolent man or woman, we'd love to teach you what to do if something crazy happens. More importantly, we'd like to teach you what not to do. We currently have over 500,000 members. They are doctors and single moms and firemen and grandmothers and veterans and Democrats and Republicans and members of every faith. But the one thing they all have in common is that they know exactly what to do if something crazy happens. When you're with one of our members, you are safe. Our members know how to de-escalate situations. They know how to calm things down. We are the United States Concealed Carry Association. See what we're all about at usconcealedcarry.com.
Discover the little-known backstory of the U.S. Concealed Carry Association at usconcealedcarry.com.
They say he eats crayons and his knuckles drag on the ground, but that's only half true. Welcome back to the Home Defense Show with Skip Coriel.
Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. I'm your host, Skip Coriel. And now let's continue our conversation with Amanda Winters from Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. And we're talking about the Byrna launcher, aka gun, firearm, that we're not going to call a gun or a firearm because it launches projectiles, not bullets, projectiles, pepper balls or hard balls or whatever. You know, what we really need, and you were in the Air Force, so maybe you can appreciate this. What we need is like an incendiary self-defense round. You fire that ball out there, it hits, bursts into flames, sets the man on fire, and stops the threat.
Well, it would be cool if it even put them out, so that way it wouldn't be that big of an issue. Right? Yeah, I mean.
Well, I know the
Yeah.
military part of you has to go, wow, that would be so cool. But every
There's a lot of
lawyer
cool
in
things about
America,
that statement for sure. Yeah.
yeah, every lawyer in America is going, I can't believe he said that. You shoot to stop the threat. You don't shoot to set him on fire and turn him into burnt toast. That
When
one
they
probably
stop,
would,
drop, and roll, they might change their
yeah,
mind.
stop, drop, and roll. That probably wouldn't be considered less than lethal, though, if you actually burst the criminal into flames. But
Yeah, I don't believe so either.
I have so much less tolerance for bad guys these days. It just seems like everybody and their grandma is committing crimes these days, and they're becoming more and more heinous and less than lethal thing. I understand why a lot of people want to do that because a lot of my students, they go, that's the one thing that they struggle with is they
Mhm.
don't want to stop the threat by actually killing someone. They just don't want to do it. And they're not supposed to want to do it. And they'll look for a system like this. I guess my question that I'm leading up to, Amanda, is what kind of a person is going to want this when they're going up against someone with a firearm or a knife or some type of deadly force?
What I really honestly see across the board is college students, elderly couples, people who travel a lot, people who do live in close quarters, like snowbirds and the winter trailer parks, right? Or the campers and the campgrounds and things of that nature. I see people who carry two firearms on their bodies every single day, getting this to travel out of state for vacations or work, and they can't take their normal everyday carry. It's a secondary option for the everyday carry person, but a less than lethal option for the people who want protection, but they just aren't comfortable enough with firearms. And I can respect that. Whether they're physically not able to manipulate the firearm, so this is the next best thing for them. I don't necessarily feel like it's any one demographic. I see it really kind of across the board. It does seem to be a little bit bigger in the baby boom era, if you want to call it that.
I hadn't really considered non-permissive environments. I mean, pistol-free zones, because this isn't a gun, it's a launcher. I could carry that into a pistol-free zone and it would be perfectly legal. Does that sound right?
In terminology, I would agree with you. Some people might argue to the fact because it does look like a pistol. I've actually asked a few different police, law enforcement individuals, if a teacher were to have this in her drawer at school, is it considered a firearm? Or could a felon buy this? Those types of questions, because it does look like a pistol. At that point, it almost becomes to the eye of the beholder. And does the school give permission? And can a felon actually own it and such? And some of the officers have said to me that they would actually confiscate it if a felon had it. The teacher would need to have permission from the school because of what it looks like. So I don't want to sit here and say that you can carry it anywhere where it's a pistol-free zone and not face any ramifications. According to Byrna, they do state that it is not a firearm. It is legal in all 50 states, but Byrna.com's website does have a FAQ portion to where you can look up at some of those things. But if you're really kind of curious about that, I would consult a lawyer of some sort to get a better answer. That is kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, this is Skip Coyle on Home Defense Show. We're speaking with Amanda Winters from Center Shot Indoor Gun Range about the Byrna less than lethal system. Yeah, that all makes sense to me. I'm holding out for the new Byrna flamethrower. I've seen pictures. Yes, I'm joking. There is no Byrna flamethrower, but that would be cool. That would be really cool. How much does this thing cost?
So the Byrna launcher standard, that MSRP is at $380, and the LE, where they call it the law enforcement model, is at $480. And then the rifles go up to at about $700. They do come with a couple of cylinders, a couple of magazines, and a few different, like, it's a tube, if you will, of ammo, and it has like 5 rounds in each. So it does come with that. And then additional cylinders and ammunition rounds, balls, if you will, are at an additional cost.
So it's an investment to get into it. I mean, when you're talking $350 to $700, a lot of handguns are in that price bracket. So I can see where some people would want to do that. And I joke about it on the air, but with a lot of my students, I can see that a lot of my students would want to do that. If there are other kinds of less than lethal, like the stun guns and, tasers and all of that. But at least in the state of Michigan, in order to carry something like that, you have to get your concealed pistol license. Do you have to get any kind of training to do this pepper launcher thing?
No.
Wow.
There's no training required for this. I mean, obviously, I would hope somebody would take at least even just like a basic pistol class to understand how to operate it. Right? It does have a thumb safety and a trigger, all of that good jazz. So
I think it would be really cool if right there at Center Shot, with every purchase, you told the people, listen, you're going to buy this $500 pepper launcher, but as a special perk, you get to shoot Austin in the chest with this pepper blaster 5 times. What do you think about something like that? I think they would sell. I'd buy one.
I can already see Austin. I'm out. I'm done. Nope. But ironically, you say that we do have the Byrna available to try. So to rent it, and $20 gets you a cylinder and some rounds and range time.
I think what I need to do is I need to test this out for myself, Amanda, not with the hard ball rounds like I did before. I need to get some of those pepper rounds. I'll go down there to Center Shot and I'll rent that gun and we'll do a short video for Rumble. And I don't know, maybe Austin would volunteer for that, or Ron. I would love to shoot Ron in the chest just for fun. But
I see them both wearing a gas mask if they even agree to be hit with it.
well, we'll see what happens. But we're about out of time here. You've told us a lot about something that we didn't know a whole lot about, so that's great. And those are available at Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. How can people get to Center Shot Indoor Gun Range online and learn all about it?
So centershotgunrange.com is our website, and you can go to Byrna.com and learn more about the Byrna in itself. We are an authorized dealer, so we do have some Byrna items in stock.
And Byrna is spelled Byrna?
Yes, sir.
Amanda, thank you very, very much for being on the Home Defense Show today. I appreciate it.
Yes, you're welcome, Skip. It was a pleasure.
All right, folks, now that your arms have been properly warmed up with those one-handed push-ups, it's time for pull-ups. Not too many, just 20. And go ahead and use both arms, because we all know that a healthy, fit person fights better and is harder to kill. God bless and stay safe. We will be right back.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
At Center Shot Gun Range, we are passionate about training. Don't know where to start? We offer a 1-hour new shooter seminar to introduce you to the world of firearms and help you find training opportunities specific to you. Concealed carry, home defense, firearm safety, AR-15, private one-on-one training, custom training, or maybe you're on a security team looking to protect your church or business. We even offer weekday morning and evening classes. Center Shot Gun Range has you covered. Start your journey at centershotgunrange.com.
Firearms training should be easy. Instructors can focus on teaching and not worry about all the complex paperwork and management behind the scenes. Just pull the trigger and let us do the administrative work. Welcome to shootingclasses.com.
Liberals hate him, small children fear him, but God keeps on loving him anyway. Welcome back to the Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
And that was the beautiful and sultry voice of Golden Glenn, the official announcer of the Home Defense Show, and I'm your host, Skip Coryell. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, United States Concealed Carry Association, shootingclasses.com, and Center Shot Indoor Gun Range for all your training and equipment needs. And now it's time for our weekly self-defense report, sponsored by shootingclasses.com. And today we're speaking with firearms instructor Ron Tiller from the great state of Michigan. Ron, welcome back to the Home Defense Show.
It's good to be back. Good to hear from you, Skip.
Well, of course it is. I'm incredible, but thanks for coming. Thanks for coming along for the ride there, Ron. I'm joking. Don't hang up.
No problem. No problem.
All right, Ron, you know the drill here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read the crime article here, and then you're going to break it down for us and tell us what this guy do right, what did he do wrong, what would you do differently if it were you. So here we go. In the early hours of Wednesday morning, a Missouri resident faced a harrowing situation when burglars attempted to break into his home near Lake of the Ozarks. The incident occurred on North Highway 7 in Camdenton, a city about 150 miles southeast of Kansas City. The homeowner, confronted with the threat, took decisive action. According to the Camden County Sheriff's Office, the resident reported to 911 that they had shot one of the intruders. The second suspect managed to flee the scene in a dark-colored vehicle heading north. When deputies arrived at the residence, they found the wounded suspect. Despite the efforts of medical personnel to provide emergency care, the suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. The sheriff's office assured the public that there was no ongoing threat as deputies and detectives continued to investigate the crime scene. The incident sparked a wave of reactions on social media, particularly on the sheriff's office Facebook page. Many commenters expressed little sympathy for the deceased suspect. Quote, "The Ozarks is the wrong place to find out or win a prize," one commenter noted. Another echoed the sentiment with, "Try that in a small town." The community's strong stance on self-defense was evident in the comments. One user stated, "If you're not invited, nobody makes it out alive. Locked, loaded to aim and fire. All of us here in our small town protects each other and our neighbors before calling 911. Boy, that sounds like a very long bumper sticker. Another individual expressed hope that the surviving suspect would reconsider their choices. Hopefully, this is a huge wake-up call to the one who got away. To the homeowner, way to protect your own. All right, and there's a few more comments, but they're all pretty much the same thing, not very sympathetic. What's your initial take on this particular crime, Ron?
Well, there's not as many details as I'd like to see. Number one being, of course, because it could make a difference in court as far as the jury, was the burglar armed or not? That's a biggie. And then I love it when he reported to 911 that he shot someone. No, you call 911, you say there's been a shooting at such and such an address. Please send the police and 2 ambulances, and you hang up. He didn't do a
Yeah.
lot right, but maybe he was, if he felt threatened in Missouri, much like Michigan, you can shoot an intruder.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. In a lot of self-defense, there is a political aspect of self-defense. Take that same crime and do it in New York City, and man, I think the guy might be facing charges, or Los Angeles, or some other non-permissive environment like that. Missouri, it's not Texas, but it's almost Texas. My son lives in Missouri, and they take their guns and their self-defense pretty seriously there. What do you think about the social commentary on the website for the sheriff's office? There's some pretty harsh fighting words there, Ron.
Oh, absolutely, especially if they included all of the comments. Of course, it's media, so you don't know if they did or not, but pretty much the attitude is, like you said, try that in a small town.
Well, you grew up in a small town, Ron. What was it like?
I just left that small town and it was exactly like that.
It was so much different when I was growing up back in the 1960s, early 70s. The attitude there, and people would openly talk about it. They would basically say, "Hey, listen, you come into my house, I'm going to kill you." They had something called the three S's. Ron, you're from the same hometown as me. Do you remember what the three S's stood for?
No, help me.
Shoot, shovel, and shut up. That's what my
Oh,
dad would
okay.
always say. Now, no self-respecting concealed carry instructor would use that terminology or teach anything like that simply because, man, these days, I mean, back then there was no social networking. Nothing was ever recorded. There's no videotape. I mean, nothing like that. So whatever you said to your friends or your neighbor, it stayed between you and your friend, or you and your neighbor, or you or your family member. But now everything is recorded, and you get in a self-defense situation like this one, and you got to be careful what you say about what you did, don't you?
Absolutely. And I'm sure Bruce Corey would agree. You need to look at shooting as a last resort when all else is not possible.
Yeah. If that had been you and it just played out the way they said here, guy broke into his house, maybe he's armed, maybe he's unarmed. Castle doctrine in Michigan and in Missouri is pretty much the same, fairly strong castle doctrine law. You shoot the guy who's in your house, you believe it's a legal shooting, but when you're on the phone to 911, what do you recommend that people tell the dispatcher?
They only say that there has been a shooting And please send an ambulance. I always say two, one for me, one for the other guy, and give them the address and hang up and don't say anything more because it's all being recorded and you're under stress.
Hang up. That is so rude. Well, you would just, I bet you hang up on telemarketers too, don't you?
Oh, I do that all the time.
Okay. Yeah, Ron, you're absolutely right. In this day and age, we live in such a litigious society. Anybody can sue anyone for anything. You got to be careful what you say, not just for criminal reasons, but for civil lawsuits as well. So, yeah, just tell them like Jack Webb, just the facts, ma'am. Yeah, there's been a shooting. This dead body, it's in my house. I don't know how it got here. Why don't you show up here? I think that's good advice. Say very, very little, hang up, and then your second phone call, where would that go to, Ron?
Mine would be to USCCA.
There you go. So would mine. Mine would go to United States Concealed Carry Association, one of my sponsors. And then your lawyer can go to bat for you and tell you what to say and what not to say. So, any last words on this particular event here, Ron?
No, I'm not surprised about the small town in kind of a semi-hillbilly area, especially their general attitude. And again, it would have been nice to know if the person was unarmed, or if it was daylight or dark. That can make a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does. The devil lies in the details. It's hard to get the big picture, the totality of the circumstances when you don't have all of the facts. So we just have to deal with generalities and with principles more than anything else. But you're right in that he didn't do a lot of things right, but because he's from Missouri, in a sympathetic environment with a sympathetic law enforcement agency and a sympathetic prosecutor and a sympathetic jury, he's probably going to be just fine. In Texas, they'd give him a medal. In Missouri, they just pat him on the back and say, "Attaboy."
There you go.
All right, Ron, how can people get a hold of you to take your CPL classes? You've got some advanced classes going. Talk about that.
Well, probably the simplest would be to go to the website, which is www.legallyarmedinwestmichigan.com.
Legallyarmedinwestmichigan.com. All right, that's easy enough, Ron. I want to thank you very much for your friendship and for being on the Home Defense Show today.
All right, good to talk to you again.
This is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show, and that about wraps it up for this week's show. I've had a good time, and I hope you have too. Please don't forget to thank our sponsors, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range at centershotgunrange.com, shootingclasses.com to help you find the right trainer for your needs, and the United States Concealed Carry Association. For all your self-defense needs, go to uscca.com. I've written 20-plus books, and they're all available on Amazon.com in paperback, ebook, and audiobook. This week, check out my book, The Mad American. The first person to email me at skip@homedefenseshow.com will get a free signed copy of the book. Don't forget to include your shipping address. And if you want training from me in person, then check out Midwest Tactical Training at shootingclasses.com. Please join us again next week for all your home defense needs. In the meantime, God bless and stay safe.
Thank you for joining us this week on The Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best.
Bye-bye, boys!
Have fun storming the castle!